How's it going? Ryan here. And today I'm going to go over the two trades that I took on SPY. The first being a win, the second being a loss. I'll get into both of those in a second, but first we're looking at the daily chart here. So we're on the daily time frame of SPY. One of the first things you'll probably notice is that we have broken very convincingly out of this long-term trend. Previously we'd kind of broken out of it as a bit of a fake out before reclaiming that. Here we have rising volume and some of the highest volume we've seen in months on the breakdown of that. We still haven't gotten below 420, which is kind of that last line of support. As you can see, we found support for about 4 days straight, right around that 420 level. So break 420, we have a new low. And this bearish trend that's been going since here kind of continues, a series of lower highs and lower lows. Breaking 420 would then be the next lower low. But for now, we're below this trend line, and that sort of influenced, or that did influence the first trade that I took on the day. So we're gonna hop straight into it. I'll explain some of these levels that we have in here. This is that trend line that we saw from the daily time frame. We have this line, this kind of lavender color. That is yesterday's close. We have the red, which is the yesterday's low of day, pre-market low in yellow, and then these levels from the daily time frame here, pretty much 425, 422, and 420, which we're sitting at that 420 in after hours. That's pretty nuts. We'll see if we get a break before Monday morning. That could be something. But and if I back up a second, you can see in this pre-market, we kind of chopped in this range here, pretty much between yesterday's close and this 425-ish area. So saw that 425. Also, if we look at the hourly time frame, you can see that kind of range that we were in really well. So really just looking for a break to the upside or to the downside of that range for a potential play. However, I should have thought of that. I'll get into my trade here in a second and tell you why I maybe fumbled a little bit. We saw this support forming in the market in the beginning from the pre-market to the opening. And we were really holding pretty much between yesterday's close and yesterday's low of day. So just bouncing around in that range. I was waiting for a break out of this support and below yesterday's low of day. A break of both of those would confirm to me that we are weak. We also, remember, have that trend line that we are below. So overall, the scene is pretty bearish. Break below those two things, that's a pretty bearish sign as well. And I thought that we could see 425 off of the break of those two levels. So that was kind of my first thought for my first trade. If we look at the 2 minute, and I'll be going between the 2 minute and 5 minute. We'll take a look at the two. I entered puts here. We broke on the 2 minute, came up and retested that 425.75 level, we'll call it, just where that trend line kind of overlaps with yesterday's low of day. We then subsequently pushed up, and I was down quite a bit at this point. I held on because I did not use my stop loss as a monetary or a percentage of my position, which had I gotten stopped out, it would have been a much larger loss than I would have liked to take. Generally, I try to keep my stop loss pretty tight. But the reason why I didn't sell is because my stop was ultimately if we got above this lavender line that has been kind of the high of the pre-market and the morning when we've been bouncing around this area. So I figure as long as we don't claim that level, if we reject off this level again, then we can head to the bottom of that range for sure. So looking at that higher time frame kind of gave me the confidence to hold through some of that. I did enter too early. I definitely did enter too early because on the 5 minute, that was not a close below. That was just another bounce of support. Here, I'll show you, this would be the most ideal entry according to what I'm looking for. Because we got this close below on the 2 minute, this is also a close below those levels on the 5 minute as well. And then we got the retest on the 2 minute. Beautiful. the close below on both time frames, retest. That would be an excellent execution. So I bought my first contract here. I actually bought my second contract right in here. Once we broke down here, I felt confident that we were going to get the move that I was expecting. So I sized up and bought another contract. I sold my first contract on this move here. We pushed down, kind of bounced up, came back down. I de-risked. I took one contract off. I sold my next contract on this candle when we hit 425, or when we hit this level. So exit out of the position there fully. However, that 425 didn't really hold as much support, and we broke below that, breaking out of that range that we'd been in that whole after hours and pre-market, and came all the way down to this 423 to like 422.8 zone that I had. Beautiful move. I sold here and we got $2 more additionally out of that move. And holding through this, you know, having this game plan was a direct result of watching this hour time frame. But obviously I wasn't watching close enough, because I was concerned we'd get a bounce here at 425, which is why I took full profits at that position. Also, I only had 2 contracts, so not really. I'm probably going to take profit rather than selling 50% and leaving 50% as a runner. I don't really like that, like risk to reward. I'd rather just stick to my levels and take profit at my levels. With that being said, though, I should have kept the bigger picture in frame, knowing that we were below that long-term trend line, knowing that we'd broken out of this range that we were in. Everything looking bearish. Look at that close on the hourly, like absolutely beautiful. So perhaps, you know, I should have held on, especially if I look at the 5-minute chart. Even though we were bouncing a little bit in the 2-minute, the 5-minute, we're bearish all the way down. We do have this longer wick, but this is very bearish. This is pretty nice and bearish. That's nice and bearish. That's very bearish. So not a whole lot of reason for me to not hold. Like I said, I stuck to my trade idea. I was going to take profit at 425. Perhaps 2020 hindsight here, looking at that move that we got after we broke, making me wish that I held longer and get that full profit. I think my entry here, I mean, we can play if, ands, and buts. It would have been a great trade, and that's that. I took profit here. That was my winner. The second trade that I had, which was my loser, was right here. So we came down to this zone and we bounced on essentially the highest volume that we had aside from the very first candle print on the 5-minute. Huge volume come in after decreasing volume in the selling. So we have that break on higher volume. Volume decreases as we approach this level. The candle bodies decrease as we approach this level. Huge spike in volume on a bounce here. So I'm thinking, all right, this might be a point of reversal. We have lowering selling pressure. We have a huge buying pressure at this level that I was watching. That's a nice bullish candle. We engulfed these past 2 candles. So that to me looked very bullish. I thought we could see easily a return back up to 425, maybe for a retest. So I entered a call on this candle as we were coming down into this area. It is a bearish engulfing. We wiped out that entire bullish move. So that to me seems kind of silly. However, it was on quite low volume as well, and I thought that we would get another bounce here. So that was kind of my rationale, is that we had shown a lot of buying pressure. We'd shown a strong bounce at this level. We'll take a look at the 2-minute and kind of see what I was looking at. As we came down and retested, I bought a call here, a 425 call, because I thought that we might come up and retest at least the pre-market low, if not that level that we broke earlier. We did not, and I got stopped out on this candle. So my stop was pretty tight. I was playing with a little bit of profits that I had from that move in the morning. I only took 1 contract, so I sized down and I stopped out on this candle as we pushed below 423. A smaller loss, quite a bit, is about 1/3 of the size of my win. So still had a nice risk to reward today. This trade was a little sloppy. I entered a little early, and I entered a little early over here. So that's something that I guess I did on both trades that I can look at to improve, entering a little early, not waiting for that full confirmation. So something to learn from. But I did hold through some downturn on that trade, which I'm happy, by using a higher time frame and kind of keeping things in perspective. So I feel like there's some learning opportunities today. I'm glad that I came out on the positive side of things. I would give myself a decent rating on how I traded today. I think I had the right ideas and I took some nice setups. This one you could debate, why would you take calls on such a weak day? But, I saw this reaction and saw a retest of that level. So I thought that I could maybe time the bottom, which is probably not the smartest thing to try to do. However, I could have timed the bottom potentially at that 422 level. It bounced pretty much perfectly off of that. Kind of breaking that long downtrend, at least essentially before we retested that pre-market low, and then rejected from the rest of the day there on out. Those were the trades I took. That's kind of how my day played out. If I could wind it back, I think I would have maybe not entered here. But that's also hindsight. I think, if I'm being honest, taking that trade was a reaction to seeing this move after I sold and being greedy and wanting more profit. If I really look at why I took that trade, because I was sitting on a nice profit for the day. And ultimately all this did was just eat away about a third of it. So that's another thing to consider. I entered too early, so a little overzealous to get into those trades. Could have maybe held a little longer, looking at a higher time frame and understanding the bigger picture here. That's another lesson. And then greed maybe getting me, a little anxious to enter another trade, trying to look for more money. But that's how my day played out. I appreciate you watching. Thank you if you stuck around this far. I do trade Monday through Friday. Next week, however, I will be out. I'm going to a wedding, so I will not be trading or streaming or posting any videos next week. But I will be back regular time the week after that. So always feel free to stop by the stream, say what's up. Love to share ideas, see what other people are thinking or what people are looking at. We also have a Discord. Message me or leave a comment if you're interested in that, and I'll try to get that link to you. It's just a small Discord of people trying to learn and grow as traders, varying experiences, portfolio sizes. Some of us are paper trading, some of us are trading real accounts. Just a place for people to kind of share ideas and grow. But that's all I have for you. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye.